Hey guys, it's time to go diving. My name is Matt Myers. I'm owner and operator of Flippers Diving here in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's time to go for a dive. So taking you guys along today for a little flounder pounding. We've had a lot of good luck in the last month or so with the flounder populations offshore Jacksonville, and that's what this dive today is going to be focused on. So a little Hollywood magic here, flip-flopped, and this is actually myself and my dive buddy descending on one of the sites offshore St. Augustine, actually, for this particular trip. We're on a set of artificial reef, or a set of culverts, we'll call them. It's artificial structure, concrete culverts that are dumped into the ocean intentionally with the intent of making a artificial reef. So these concrete structures are clean. They give a place for marine life to grow, you know, soft corals and all that sort of stuff, which of course then attracts plenty of marine life. There's a max depth here of 65 feet, and we're just offshore St. Augustine. As you can see, we had pretty good conditions on this day. I would say we had definitely 50 foot of viz, maybe closer to 70 foot of viz. Really, really clean. As you can tell, the red snapper population is hurting immensely. For the sarcasm there. Probably one of the most mismanaged fisheries on the Atlantic coast, even over in the Gulf. It's gotten better over in the Gulf, but populations of the red snapper are out of control. We have a 2-day red snapper season. We just had it a week or so ago. They allow 1 fish per person on those 2 days, and that's it. I'm trying to protect this species that's obviously struggling. As you see all those kind of big gray looking fish, those are red snapper. We're gonna be focusing on flounder today, so see if you can pick them out. There's your first one. Looks like a pile of sand to the naked eye, but once you kind of start to see the shape, start to see the coloration, look for the eyeballs, that sort of stuff, you can start picking them out. So we'll see if you stick along for the ride on this video, you're gonna see a lot of flounder today, and hopefully you guys start getting the hang of spotting them. When the water gets to be just about the right temperature and kind of the right time of summer, we get large schools of flounder that come in and hang out in this 60 to 80 foot up to 100 foot range. You'll start to see them pretty heavy, and they'll just be stacked up. If you're not looking for them, you won't see them. You'll swim right over them. Their camouflage is absolutely incredible. They will lay flat on the bottom. They kind of nestle down into the sand, so a lot of times they're even covered with sand. You might only see their eyeballs moving, which looks like a pebble. So you really got to be looking to see these fish. So usually my primary function or focus is lionfish. I'm carrying my lionfish container with me. It's made by Aquatic Hunt. But I'm using it for flounder. I've actually kind of adopted to use it for anything that'll fit inside of it. Flounder, grouper, snapper, coarse lionfish, scallops, garbage, seashells, whatever you happen to be picking up. I'll put a link to the Aquatic Hunt lionfish lockers in the description there, so if you guys want to check them out, I have them on my website. There's a new version that just came out, the Aquatic Hunt Pro. Has some really nice upgrades on it. So just shot a mangrove snapper there. Those are really abundant fish. Thankfully, a well-managed fisheries. They're healthy populations, but they're not overdoing it. We generally see mangroves on almost every single dive. Kind of easy to identify. They seem to be the snappers that maybe are on crack. I don't know. You'll see them just kind of darting in and out of all kinds of structure, under ledges, rocks, culverts, all that kind of stuff. You know, average size, probably 10 to 15 inches. They can definitely get a whole lot bigger. I'm seeing some 20 plus, up to 30-inch mangroves. Depends where you're at. They're all over the Atlantic and Gulf areas, but we see them a lot out here. There's my dive buddy. He's also doing the floundering. Although that zookeeper does not work very well for shoving flounder in, so I'm the designated flounder carrier on this dive. My dive buddy is working towards, or was working towards, advanced nitrox decompression procedures certifications. So they were diving in doubles and kind of a tech setup for the day to get ready for those checkout dives. And thankfully, high five to my buddy, certified, past couple weeks or so ago. As you can see, the marine life offshore Jacksonville and St. Augustine, it is thick. It is thick. So look for the flounder, see if you see him. You see the flounder? There it is. All right, now if you didn't see it, let's go back and do a little slow-mo here. See if you guys can pick it out. Look for the shape. See the shape? There it is. And you're looking for the head. Obviously, you want to hit it in the head because you don't want to ruin the meat. And if you're lucky enough, you hit it in the head and you put that fish out of its misery instantly. I'm not that good at it, so generally mine are going to be flopping all over the place. You're looking for the shape of that fish. And notice when you see some of the ones, once we hit them, you'll see some of the coloration and the dark spots. You're looking for those dark spots as well. Another good indicator, you see all these really small bait fish. Seeing bait fish like that, you're probably going to have flounder in they feed on. So it should be 3 flounder here. You're looking at 3 right now. Do you see them? Obviously, there's 1. There's 2. Where was that 3rd one? So take a look at the slow-mo here. There's 1, 2. And then look at that 3rd one right behind the 2nd one. They will lay stacked like that, and you want to be strategic as to which one you hit because you may end up scaring away the one that's right next to it. So I generally try to pick the flounder that is pointing away from the grouping. You know, if there's 3, 4, 5 flounder there, that way if they start shaking and we move away as they're being hit with the spear, hopefully we don't disturb the other ones. We can come back and get them. It's kind of fun when you see them, you know, these flounder, they think, oh, he doesn't see me. He doesn't see me, swimming right over me. And normally we don't see him. But when you do, then you can kind of take a moment, get yourself situated and get in the right position to grab him. Personally, I generally just use a pole spear. I think it's just faster and easier. I'm not having to reload my spear gun over and over again. You'll notice I'm carrying my Koa spear gun with me. I only used it a couple times on this dive, but had I needed to reload that thing every single time, probably wouldn't have had near as many flounder in my bag. You can see my buddy back there in the distance, also collecting some fish. Really great sight because we're only in about 65, 75 foot of water. So nice long dive. I think total dive time for us is about 45, 50 minutes. Then you throw a little nitrox on there. You have a nice long dive, no decompression. So you can kind of see it. I'm using that Aquatic Hunt lionfish locker, but mine is modified. The bottom end of it has been 3D printed, so it's got a big commercial bag on it. So check this out. See if you can find the flounder. You guys have been watching long enough. See him? There's more than one. That's the challenge. Did you see all the flounder? Yeah, there were at least 8 that I counted when I went back and looked at the video, just in this one little area. So we're gonna go through slow-mo and check them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hiding back there. And just wait till we spin around, we'll see a few more. And number 6. See that guy right over on the right there? He's just starting to move. There's a big one there up in the left, top middle of the screen there. And of course, all the red snapper hanging out. They don't seem to mind us too much. Yeah, so that's your slow-mo instant replay. Feel free to go back and watch this one over and over so you can start picking out these flounder. Obviously, it might be a little more challenging on your screen, but they're everywhere. They're moving. So I started to say in the beginning, we have really abundant marine life offshore, Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, St. Augustine. We might not have beautiful reefs and corals and so forth. We have a lot of artificial structure that's been man-made stuff that's been placed out there. And a lot of it being concrete, so pretty environmentally friendly. It's not the coolest stuff to look at. Sometimes you feel like you're swimming through a junkyard, but man, the fish life is intense. We do have a lot of ledges. That's probably my favorite thing to dive, are some of the ledge systems that we have. Our ledges, again, are not huge, but they do generally run for a long distance. So it may only be 2, 3, 4, 5 feet high, whatever, maybe maximum 10 feet tall. But sometimes you'll have them run a couple 100 feet, maybe 1,000 feet or more. But on these days, we were focused on the artificial site. The other thing to think about if you're focused on flounder is where are you going to find them, right? If you've noticed some of the spots that we are locating them, they're not like way out in the open. They're not inside the culverts or in really cramped spaces. They're generally right along the edges. They kind of want to give themselves an out. So if they need to take off, they can. If you've never seen a flounder up close before, it's a flat fish. Both of their eyes are on one side of their body. When the flounder is born, it looks like a normal fish, and they have an eye on each side of their head, like all these other fish you're seeing. And basically, they learn to lay flat on the bottom, and over a short period of time, as they're juveniles, that eyeball actually migrates, there you go, from one side of the head to the other. So when you're looking at this fish, there's actually 2 eyeballs side by side. And so that way they can see everything that's swimming over them. And generally they just lay flat on the bottom. They're waiting for fish to come by, minnows that they can, pop off the bottom and scoop them up in their mouth. So those little tiny minnows like you see on the left side of your screen, that's the stuff that they're looking for. Got a couple of elusive lionfish here. So when we're on these culvert sites, I generally just kind of work my way around the outside, and I want to be able to go like around each culvert, around each cluster of culverts or concrete, whatever's sitting down there, and make sure I'm not leaving anything unturned. I literally need to be about 2 or 3 feet off the bottom and just kind of hovering neutrally. Otherwise, if I'm too high up, 5, 10 feet off the bottom, I can't see them. I should add that you're seeing we're collecting a whole lot of flounder here. I do actually have a commercial license for harvesting and selling flounder to the market. So we've got some fish wholesalers that we sell to, some fish markets as well. I believe bag limit for normal saltwater fishing license. Man, I should have looked this up before we started doing the video, but I think you're either 10 or 15. I think it's 10. And then the flounders need to be at least 14 inches in length. We ended up collecting almost 100 pounds worth of flounder. I actually broke my lionfish locker because, again, it's that bag that's on the bottom is not a standard thing that's offered from Aquatic Hunt. I do sell them in my shop. You'll see them listed on the website as well. But it was so heavy, the one dive had over 60 pounds of flounder in that bag that just the weight, when they went to grab it on the boat, just cracked that handle because, you know, it's just not intended to carry that much meat. You're looking out there, there's got to be a couple dozen flounder, if nothing else, just laying there. But the goal is, can you find them? Oop, I see two. Y'all see the second one? Bottom left on your screen? Look at the dots on the back of that fish. The dark dots. The one we haven't. Might scared it off here. Yeah, I think I scared off that second one. Just kind of fold them up like a taco. Shove them in there. We got a lionfish trying to escape. Sometimes the bait fish are so thick, they actually are reducing your visibility. You can see my dive buddy over there. You get inside one of those schools of bait fish, you can pretty much disappear. But it's a good sign, right? It's healthy marine environment. Fish are thriving. There we go. Double tag team there. Both got one at the same time. One other kind of tactic or trick is when you spear the flounder, a lot of people, as soon as it hits, they want to pull their spear back. Don't. Lean into it and push that spear all the way through the flounder. You know, the tip of your spear is just going into the sand, so you're not hurting anything. And sometimes when you initially make impact, especially if you're using a pole spear, you might not get it all the way into the fish. And they don't freak out right away. They might kind of lay there for a second before they start flopping. So again, if you hit them with the spear and then as soon as you make contact, just kind of lean into it and push all the way through the fish. That way you're make sure that you don't lose them. But we're using pole spears. They're just probably the most primitive spearing fishing device in existence, right? They're super simple. They're not expensive either. The one I'm using is probably one of the cheapest ones out there. We sell them in our shop anywhere from 35 to 45 bucks. They're cheap, but you don't need a whole lot of complexity, right? The tip that's on them is a 3-prong, or they call it a trident tip. I feel that's the best tip all around for doing lionfish, flounder, smaller fish. Now, if you're going to be using a pole spear for snapper and bigger stuff, then you're probably going to want something with a flopper on the end of it, so the fish isn't going to get off. But these fish are small enough and don't bite that badly that Another dive in the old logbook. That wraps it up for us today. But hey, subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more great content. It's coming at you soon. And also check out flippersdiving.com. We've got the biggest assortment of pre-owned and new dive equipment on the market. Take care.
You look dirty in there.